Hey enablers, Mike Kunkle here. Welcome to this edition of Sales Enablement Straight Talk. Today, I want to talk about the difference between sales enablement and sales performance consulting and a way to think about both, assess where you are, and then offer some resources to help on your journey toward making a larger impact with enablement. As you know, my framework is the building blocks of sales enablement and the sales systems that support those blocks and allow for effective execution. I won't talk about all of this in detail here today, but these are the blocks and the systems that I work with most frequently. The systems are sales hiring, sales readiness, sales training, including the 5 stages of sales mastery and behavior change, sales management, and sales coaching. If you'd like to see how the systems support the blocks and align, you can pause this presentation or download the deck and dig into it later. But basically, the building blocks are the framework or pieces of the puzzle. I think of them as the performance levers. The systems are how you execute to optimize and maximize the impacts of the blocks. If you'd like to learn more about this, obviously I have the book, The Building Blocks of Sales Enablement. I offer an ebook that is a complement to the book and is about how to develop a sales enablement plan that will deliver impact and results. And I offer a full course, a learning experience about the building blocks of sales enablement and systems in partnership with Felix Kruger of ffwd.com. Feel free to explore to your heart's content and dig in further into things as it makes sense to you. Today, however, I want to talk about the difference between enablement and performance consulting and how to evolve. Let's start by defining performance consulting. This is my definition, but I believe it's on target. Performance consulting is a systematic and holistic approach to improve workplace performance and achieve business goals. It's grounded in analytics, diagnostics, and especially root cause analysis. It considers a broad array of organizational and individual factors that influence human performance. This is in line with systems thinking. It's all about the selection, design, and development of the most appropriate solution to solve the identified performance problem, which was identified in the root cause analysis. And then, of course, it's about implementation using proven effective practices for the selected intervention and change practices, including communication, follow-through, measurement, analysis, evaluation, and adjustment to ensure that the results are achieved. This is the crux of performance consulting. One of the organizations dedicated to performance consulting is the International Society for Performance Improvement. They often refer to it as HPT, or Human Performance Technology, but it is the same thing. ISPI has developed a set of performance standards that you see here. The first 4 standards are referred to as RSVP, or Results, Systems, Value, and Partnership. These are foundations to doing performance work. Then they believe that the competent practitioners follow a systematic process, which are standards 5 through 10, as you see here. Now, ISPI's is not the only model out there, but for all of the models, the big moving parts tend to be these: identifying a problem worth solving, doing the diagnostics and gap analysis, and especially root cause analysis, problem solving and solution design to address the gap, and then solution development based on the design requirements. Then, of course, as mentioned in the definition of performance consulting, it's about the effective implementation with change management and getting into the measure, evaluate, and adjust loop until you achieve the desired results. If you'd like to explore the performance standards from ISPI, the links that you see here will take you to each of the standards, or the one on the bottom will take you to an overview. In my newsletter this week, I will make these slides available, but you can also visit ISPI's website at ispi.org. As another example of a similar model, ATD offers their human performance improvement model as well. My summary of the big moving parts applies here too. Feel free to explore both models and others that you may come across. I'll provide some links to recommended reading in the appendix and in the newsletter that this video supports. Now, with this function laid, I'd like to discuss some of the differences between sales enablement and sales performance consulting. I'll do it in this framework. Looking down the left, you see focus, outputs, measures, assessments, accountability, and the executive view of each of these functions and activities. First up is focus. Sales enablement is often about leading initiatives and projects. The performance consulting difference is ensuring that those initiatives and projects are addressing performance issues. For outputs, sales enablement is often about activities, producing messaging, training, and tools for the sales force. Sales performance consulting is more focused on the results that those activities should deliver or the improved performance. In terms of measures, sales enablement often measures the progress of these initiatives, projects, and activities. Performance consulting is more focused on measuring performance change and ROI. Enablement's often assessed on how much of their work the sales force uses. In other words, are they using the outputs from the initiatives and projects? Sales performance consulting is assessed more on how much the sales force improves. In terms of accountability, enablement is often held accountable for delivering things to the sales force. Performance consulting holds themselves accountable for delivering better sales productivity and making an impact with enablement. And lastly, and critically important, is how the executive team views the function and activities. Enablement is often viewed as a cost center, and in times of difficulty is one of the departments or functions that are cut. This happened recently in the SaaS software industry, where many enablers were downsized rather than being retained to help the business through a difficult time. That's because the executives did not view enablement as an investment that would yield dividends and help the company through the challenges. Now, when assessing these factors, it's very common for one to think that it's an either-or proposition. You were either on this side of the chart or on the other side of the chart, or you were on some spot on a sliding scale between these two sides. This is not entirely true. For all but one of these, it's not an either-or proposition. Here's how I think of it. I think that each of these things is its own sliding scale. For focus, for example, you must be able to effectively lead initiatives and projects because that's how things get done. But you also must ensure that those initiatives and projects are addressing performance issues. As you look down this chart, the same thing is true for outputs, measures, assessments, and accountability. The one of these that is not both, but is in fact either or, is how the executive team views your function and work. They will either see you as a cost center or an investment, and it's in your best interest to ensure that the sales performance consulting factors on this chart lean them in the direction of seeing you as an investment. Now, a question I often get asked is this worth all the effort? And in my experience, it absolutely is. Here are some sample results of this work. not just achieving the formal maturity model of sales enablement with the building blocks and systems, but taking a performance consulting approach and getting into a continuous improvement loop to maximize the potential of the sales force. In doing this, you absolutely can deliver a significant business impact. As promised, in this deck, I'm offering some resources to explore on performance consulting. There are plenty right here that you can dig into. And to become a sales change expert and further hone your performance consulting capabilities, here are some other things that you can dig into as well. Lastly, here are just 3 of the tools that I often use. A solution selector that I've adapted from the work of Ferdinand Fournier with his permission prior to his passing, which I've incorporated into my course on sales coaching excellence. Another is Gilbert's behavior engineering model, often referred to as his 6-box model, as well as Bob Meagher and Peter Pipe's performance analysis flowchart from their book on analyzing performance problems, which is now available through the Meagher Consortium. I hope you find all of these resources to be helpful. Thanks for watching this video, Enablers, and for being a newsletter subscriber. I hope it's been helpful and interesting. Stay the course and make an impact with enablement.